Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. First of all, I want to wish you guys a very, very Merry Christmas. Okay, so there's a young lady on most of her videos are on Facebook. I'm sure she has them somewhere else, but she has clips of her. Actually, they're pretty long usually, pretty like 4 or 5 minutes, sometimes longer. So her channel on Facebook is called We Are All Energy. So mostly what she does, she has her cell phone in her hand and she talks to some form of like AI or ChatGPT. It's not ChatGPT, but it's called something. It's a form of ChatGPT, and I can't remember the name that she calls it. She asks it all kinds of questions. Usually it's spiritual questions about Jesus and why did he die and what did they do to him. All kinds of stuff, like religion and just like even about AI, even about, so it's, she asks a question and it does like a search and then it comes back with some really in-depth information. So it's pretty fun, pretty interesting to listen to. Now, I found a video. Now, she doesn't normally do this. She grabbed some videos, some guy talking about Jesus and the death of Jesus, the resurrection, and how they used it to control us. And as I'm listening, I'm like, that sounds like me. Now, I don't know what it is, but it made me so happy because I feel like finally I'm not the only person that's directly talking about this. Or maybe it's the way he says it. I don't know, but it really was like, yeah, that's what I've been saying. They've turned us into slaves. They've controlled us. They've twisted the teachings of Jesus and the Bible. And so listen to the way this guy talks. I really love it.
God, do you know why the global elites hid what Jesus really knew? Because he was showing people how to wake up, how to access the divine directly, how to step outside the system. Jesus wasn't just healing bodies. He was breaking spells. He was saying, you're not a slave. You are not guilty. The kingdom is within you. Because if people truly realize that the divine, sovereign, powerful creators that we are, they don't need priests. No priest, no church. They stop giving their energy to rigged systems. The elite fear Jesus' knowledge because it unplugs people from their control. That's why they distorted his story, turned it into a religion about guilt and fear. Focus on the crucifixion instead of the resurrection. They made it about worshiping Jesus instead of becoming like him, because a man who teaches inner power is a threat, but a man nailed to a cross, that's a warning. So yes, they buried the real teachings because Jesus wasn't their savior. He was their undoing.
So the reason why they crucified Jesus, it was a warning. It was to tell people, stay in line, stay asleep. And that's really what it... See, this is what... Okay, do you want to know why there's a bunch of narcissists going around constantly confusing people, playing mind games, shaming people, talking behind people's back, turning people against them? It's because we're waking up and they want you to stay asleep. That is absolutely what this is all about. But we're waking up whether they like it or not, and there's nothing they can do about it anymore. It's gone too far and too many people are awake. Now, let's talk about the crucifixion. That was a warning. Now, haven't you ever noticed, okay, I remember, I started noticing this when I woke up when I was 20 years old. I started wondering, like, well, why in the movies do they always, like, show, like, you know, in England or France when somebody was, like, the bad guy? It's funny, even though they were actually the hero in the movie, they still got their guts ripped out. They still got hung in public. Okay, let's talk about Braveheart. It really was all, and this is just one example. There's a lot of movies, and here's the thing. They did this stuff in real life for a long, long time in every country in the world, So Mel Gibson was Braveheart, and he was fighting for justice. He was fighting for the right people because the women were getting raped by the people in England coming to Scotland and invading and killing people. And they were just doing horrible people, burning people to stake and, you know, torturing them and having fun, hurting them. It was just horrible stuff. So Mel Gibson comes along, or well, Braveheart, and he fights against it. And he rallies people and he gets people together to stand up and say no more, this is wrong, and gets them willing to fight against it. Well, the king's going, man, we got to do something about this guy. Well, here's the thing. It wasn't... See, they realized at this point they couldn't just kill him because too many people, he woke too many people up, and they're like, yeah, no more. It's gone too far. So he knows if I just kill the guy, we're just going to make a martyr of him. What happens when you make a martyr of someone? Well, look what happened with Jesus. Billions of people are followers of Christ now. So what do? They hold a town square meeting where everyone in town has to come to this torture scene. Now here's the thing. If they would have just cut his head off or killed him by hanging, it was a quick, fairly painless death, it wouldn't have had the effect that they needed. They needed to shut the crowd down. So what did they do? They tortured him for a long time. And then at the very end, they did one of the most painful things you can do to a human being. They pulled his guts out and they strung it up and they wound it up in that thing. And it's just excruciating. And he didn't give in. He literally screamed out freedom, like just screamed it out. And the king was going, oh no, it didn't work. So here's my point. Why do you think they would always invite people to the town square and make an announcement, at this time we're going to hang this person, we're going to torture this person, we're going to do whatever, right? It's because they wanted to let you know, hey, if you get out of line, this is what we're going to do to you. And it was a very effective thing to do to shut people down. The message, don't be a hero. In the modern era, they shame you, they humiliate you, they get you fired, they do things behind your back. Like with me, they ran me over with a car. There was a lot of, I used to think all of this was just unbelievably decades after decades, year after year of insanely bad luck, of always something happening. It wasn't bad luck. These people did it on purpose. I had someone call me when I started teaching my course, Crack the Female Code. It was about 2 or 3 years into it. And he said, if you keep teaching this, they're going to kill you. Well, what does a dating relationship coach have to do with this stuff? Because the course wakes men up. It gives them a spiritual awakening. They are awakened when they take the course. It's an extremely powerful course. It is nothing like Tony Robbins' course. It's nothing like that one guy, that young Australian guy who teaches, love and relationship stuff. This wakes people up. You know what I do in the course? I teach deep breathing techniques. I teach internal awareness techniques. I teach emotional grounding techniques every day, over and over and over, multiple times a day, to condition them to open up to their right brain. That is awakening, full consciousness. All right, so I'm going to show you an image that Google, Facebook, and Instagram and YouTube would shut me down for. See this image right here? They would tell me that this is a XXX rated sexual picture that's not allowed. I'm like, what are you talking about? They said, sorry, my heater went on. So they were saying that this was adult nudity. They were trying to say that I was selling sex toys and all. And here's the thing, like, so since when are people not allowed to sell sex toys? I mean, there's something called some kind of sex toy, that a company that's famous around here. They have a shop in San Francisco and Berkeley and I forget where else. And I'm like, well, they're online, so what's wrong with this image? They said this was showing full nudity. Yeah, this image. So I changed it with another one. Now here's another thing. One of my books about body language was a volcano in Hawaii, and they said, "Oh, that's XXX rated." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" "Oh, well, you know that's like an explosion, and we know what you're trying to say there." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, literally, they wouldn't let me advertise because of these images. I kept changing them and they kept shutting down my ads. Now, I hired a young lady, paid her $4,000 to build me a website that would be Google, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram approved. So we decided to make the images for the books gold with a white font with no images. Therefore, they couldn't accuse me of having an inappropriate image. They said that this was inappropriate because it was offensive. Now, I called Shopify. This was back when you could call them and talk to someone and ask for supervisor. She got on the phone with Google and YouTube, and we had a 3-way phone call, and they were telling her, "Oh yeah, those images are XXX rated. You can't have that." And I'm like, "But it's not in the ad. It's on my website." They're like, "Well, your website represents our company." I'm like, "No, it doesn't." So this was the roundabout that I got for over 10 years. It was one thing after another. Here's another one. So I had a blog that I'd written a couple years before, and it said the differences between the sexes, between men and women, in communication styles, blah 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 blah. And that's all it said. And it said, "Oh, you used a triple X rated offensive word," and I'm like, "Where on this blog? It's right here." I'm like, "No, it's not talking about sex. It's talking about the difference between the sexes," and it literally says between men and women. He's, "Oh, you can't use that word." I'm like, "Since when can't you use the word sex on a blog?" So here's the deal. There's a lot of people that use those words. And here's the funny thing. Even if I was an adult, what do they call it? Adult store that sells sex toys, why am I not allowed to do it? Everyone else does it. There's other people that are on Google, that are on maybe not on Facebook, but on other platforms that are advertising. Like, why can they do it? See, here's the thing. There's no rule saying you can't do that, but they're saying, but you can't do it. And I'm like, but I'm not doing it. And even if I was, other people are doing it. So then they tried to say that I was a dating site, where people could meet each other. I'm like, where? Show me where there's any profiles or any place where people can talk back and forth on my website. I'm not a dating site in the sense of, what do they call those? Like eHarmony, OkCupid, all those dating sites, where Tinder, where you can meet people. Like, there's nowhere on my website that you can meet anybody. They are doing everything they can to shut down people from waking up. Okay, let's get back to this guy a little bit more, and let's kind of pull a couple pieces out of what he's saying.
God. Do you know why the global elites hid what Jesus really knew? Because he was showing people how to wake up, how to access the divine directly, how to step outside the system. Jesus wasn't just healing bodies. He was breaking spells. He was saying, you're not a slave. You are not guilty. The kingdom is within you. Because
Who does that sound like? Who's always talking about looking within and internal awareness? Me. Another thing he said about Jesus, he was teaching people how to access the divine directly. I've even said on my channel a couple of years ago, like, I am not your intercessory, because this is what these pastors and priests are doing. Like, well, I'm your intercessory, or I'm not saying it properly, intercessory or something like that. It's where they're like the go-between you and God. So you need to come to me, and I'll pray for you, and I'll talk to God for you, and I'll tell you what God said. I don't teach that. I'm teaching you how to access God yourself. The same thing I do on breaking spells. I mean, that's what, when you learn about communication, about words and the power of words and the definitions and the meaning. See, different people use the same word and have a different definition and give it a different meaning. And sometimes words can have a multitude of different meanings. And what did the serpent do to Adam and Eve in the garden? I meant, what do narcissists do to you in the Garden of Eden? For example, this guy kept telling me, hey man, I want to take you to my favorite burrito shop over. And I'm like, all right, fine. Like for 3 days, I'm like, let's go whenever you want to go. So we went to his favorite burrito shop in a city I've never been in my life. We go there. He goes, hey, let me order you a burrito. This is the best burrito. I'm like, okay, fine, order the burrito. I'm just thinking like, what's the big deal? Well, it was a narcissist thing. They try to get you all excited because they want you to get emotional, because then they stab you. It's a part of the trick. Well, I've been onto this game for a long time, so we go here, and we get the burrito, we sit down, we start to eat it, and he just goes, I'm like, what? He's just got this look of disdain on his face. Now, he's a white guy just like me. And he goes, really, dude? Really? I'm like, really what? I go, what am I doing wrong? I'm looking like, did I spill something? Like, I'm like, what? Now, I already know this is bullshit. I can feel it coming. So he goes, really, man? A white dude eating a burrito in a burrito shop? He goes, wow, man. Now, I'm an outspoken person. This is how stupid narcissists are. He was a white dude eating a burrito in a burrito shop. And I pointed that out to him. I go, you mean like you, the fellow white dude who's eating a burrito in a burrito shop? And he got real quiet like, oh, shit. Never crossed his mind that he was a white dude eating a burrito in a burrito shop just like me. So I'm like, what are you trying to say? You trying to say I'm a racist because I'm eating a burrito in a burrito shop? Like, what's the problem? He's, well, I mean, come on, man. I mean, seriously, dude. I'm like, no, dude. Burritos aren't even freaking from Mexico. He goes, yeah, they are. I'm like, no, dude. It's an American dish. He goes, no, they're not. I'm like, yeah, it is. And I go, hey, miss, who is from Mexico, by the way. I go, where are burritos from? She goes, well, they're from America. Why? I looked at him and go, see? This just blew his whole, what do you call it, scam trick game out of the water. He was like, oh, shit. Like, I just blew him up on every freaking corner. She goes, man, I didn't know that. I go, why don't you Google it? I go, and why don't we discuss the fact that you're the one who brought me to your favorite burrito shop and you ordered me the burrito. I go, how does that make me a racist, dude? Now, this is what the guy was talking about, but Jesus came to break spells. This literally was a spell to make me feel guilty and ashamed and just to play the role. Oh, man, what's wrong with you, man? And so the spell would have been, well, I'm a white dude and I'm a racist, okay? And the other one is I'm eating a burrito, therefore a white dude eating a burrito is racism. It was just a load of shit. But this is exactly what the serpent did in the garden to Adam and Eve. Chapter 2, Genesis, verse 25, the last verse in chapter 2, says they were in the garden with God and they were naked and they were not, N-O-T, not ashamed. I thought, why would it say that if they weren't? Why did it even point that out if they weren't ashamed? Well, in the next chapter, it goes on. They ate the forbidden fruit, which is your left logical brain, by the way, which means you're closed off to consciousness and being aware when people are manipulating you. That's why God didn't want you to get stuck in the logical brain. So if you go look at it, there's the tree of knowledge, which is the logical brain, and the tree of life, which is the right brain, which is the five senses, which is when you're seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, and smelling life, which means you're experiencing life in the present moment. That's why it's called the tree of life. And you're aware of things. The right brain is the awareness brain. So the reason why that guy couldn't manipulate me and do the Garden of Eden tactic on me is because I was awake. I was watching him. I was hearing him the entire time. And he wasn't aware of that because narcissists are not aware. So the whole game is to make you feel ashamed. And wasn't that what the narcissist was trying to do with me? To make me feel ashamed. This is exactly verbatim, step by step, what the serpent narcissist did in the garden. And it's done it to you. These are word spells. They use words and things and places. No, you should feel ashamed. You should feel ashamed. So Adam and Eve come along and it says, suddenly they knew they were naked, and it said they sewed up fig leaves to cover up, and then they were in the garden, and God came in, and it says, and they hid, and then God calls out, and Adam and Eve were out there, and Adam says, oh, we're hiding, and God says, why are you hiding? And Adam says, because we're naked, and God said, who told you that eating a burrito in a burrito shop, being a white male, is racist? Do you see now that everything in the Bible was talking about you, your life, and what to look out for and what they're doing? It is crystal clear. See, they can't manipulate you if you're awake, and they know it. And that's their number one biggest, greatest fear. Buy my books, my dating relationship books, are on sale right now, and they're 40% off. Use the code Return to Power for men and women. Now, you're starting to see how they use shame to mix into words, and all of a sudden now this means that, right? So he was trying to make me believe that, oh, burrito shop, white male, oh, that equals shame and disrespect, and you're being a racist. That doesn't mean that at all. I'm enjoying a freaking American dish in America. What's the problem with that? I mean, how low do you have to be to just ruin someone's life for no reason other than you're just demonic? And they are demonic, people. Do not think... I'm telling you right now, if someone in your life tells you they're a narcissist, or they have narcissistic tactics or personality traits, I am telling you, they're a demon. Part of one of the tricks is for them to admit, oh, by the way, I got diagnosed as narcissistic personality disorder, or I'm a narcissist. Run. The reason why I said it like that is because sometimes they'll admit I was diagnosed as narcissist, or they have, what do they call it, narcissist tactics, or they use narcissist whatever. I think it's the narcissist, I forget the word for it. So here's the deal. Even if they just use narcissist tactics, they're a narcissist. I am telling you, it's kind of like a half-truth. It's like a get out of jail free card. So I'm just going to abuse the hell out of you, but I'm not a narcissist. I just use their tactics. Yeah, they're a narcissist. If you don't want to call them that, they're demons. I think the secondary diagnosis is called narcissistic traits. I think that's what it is. It's the same thing. I'm telling you, there's no difference. Like, it's kind of like, well, I just use guns to kill people. That doesn't mean I'm a killer. Oh, okay. So if they give you that secondary diagnosis, it's the same damn thing. It's almost like saying, well, hey, I have permission to do this stuff because I'm not a narcissist. Therefore, it's okay. No, it's not. All right, so if you're alone this Christmas, and you don't have anyone to be with, well, you can go to those, I call it AAA, but those AA meetings, Alcoholics Anonymous, or the drug ones, Narcotics Anonymous. Just go in there and just tell them you're an alcoholic or a drug addict. They love those people. They love meeting people like that. And they'll have food. They literally have meetings. They have food, and during the Christmas time they have parties and stuff. So go ahead and join in on the fun and get some free food. For more advanced tips and tricks on how to make it through life, follow me. Okay, that's it for this video. God bless you guys. I hope you guys had a great Christmas. If I don't put this out before that, I'm going to try to put this one out. But I've got like 20 videos I've got to upload. Maybe not 20, but 15. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. I hope you guys enjoy your Christmas. If not, enjoy it anyways. Alright, click subscribe, click the like button, go and make a comment. And as usual, you can leave a donation. There's a PayPal link right there in the description box. God bless you guys. Bye.